Hello, this is the Andrew Jarl, the German Viking. So I wanted to talk about an article I saw, which I wanted to talk about in the weekend, but I didn't have the time. But Catherine full body trends on social media because SJWs call it queerphobic and transphobic. This is from One Angry Gamer, by the way. And I saw this trending, actually number one at some point on Twitter. The social justice sectors of the internet were in full bloom like size 7 pearly white panties on a clothesline blowing on a breezy spring day, as if it were a fluttering sail on a ship's mast. What brought on this momentous occasion for the perpetually offended foot soldiers of the intersectional inquisition to run, that's a really good sentence, roughshod through the digital prairie of forum boards and social media like hounds on the hunt for a bleeding rabbit? Well, Catherine, full body. That's actually, good paragraph, I would say. More specifically, some leaked footage allegedly made its way around the internet on February 16th, 2019, supposedly revealing some of the endings for Catherine Full Body, and the revelations made some social justice warriors freak out, calling the game queerphobic and transphobic. Obviously, so there are going to be some spoilers. Don't go complaining in the comment section that this article discusses spoilers because you've been warned, just like a chick warned to steer clear of a rapist, yet she decides to go on a date with a patchy, bearded, pot-bellied fellow who claims to be a male feminist. You've got no one else to blame but yourself. Okay. Yeah, and you see the picture of it trending. It all started when Twitter caught wind of news spreading around from Japanese live streams that one of the endings for Catherine Full Body included time travel. While this sounds relatively benign for most people, it caused a freak out on Twitter because they spread around the story that the character Erika, who is a cross-dresser trans in the game, is convinced not to transition into a girl and instead lives life as a gay man. This caused Catherine to begin to trend on social media as a bunch of SJW crowd began to talking about it and tweeting about it in mostly in a derogatory fashion. So what did Atlas do now? Super transphobic true ending to Catherine Full Body, apparently, and there's video image evidence. Blah blah blah. I finally found some actual evidence since almost everyone just links back to the original to one person's tweet. I can confirm that the Catherine Full Body's good ending were they after the past, and as a result, a trans character doesn't transition. Transition is real. Also, yes, this is the actual best ending. The job devs do a lot of BS with naming endings, but yeah, this is clearly meant to be a good ending either way. I mean, jeez Louise. You can see the ending that caused all the uproar, and below it clocks in at just under 8 minutes. Obviously, it contains spoilers, so if you wanna watch it, go right ahead. The idea that a trans would go back to being a man and live life as a gay man was too much for some people, causing them to declare Atlas as being queerphobic and transphobic. And you can see some tweets here as well. I'm not going to read all of them. Some of the Twitter circles confounded, bewildered, and at best befuddled. They knew not which way to turn for answers when we're seeking to confide in some places to quell confusion. And Teresa there, that place is cancer. The extremist forum board corralled all of the spoilers together and rolled out explanations for what really went down in Catherine Full Body, explaining that apparently one of the characters, Rin, is an alien and that their lower extremities may resemble that of a man, which freaks out the main character, Vincent. The members of Recent Arrow were angered that Vincent would be repulsed at a girl having male genitalia and also called it harmful for trans folk. Yeah, of course they did. Because being surprised at expecting something and being heterosexual, that's problematic, everyone. As Reset Era goes all in on calling the game transphobic, problematic, and toxic. Yeah, of course they do. And here one user, Chiron Redshift, wrote, like even putting Erica aside, which absolutely shouldn't be, but putting that whole discussion aside regardless, that's the spoilers regarding Rin sound 100% ambiguously transphobic regardless. Like regardless of Rin can actually be considered transgender. The whole Rin turning out to have a penis and being shocked 100% embodies transgender trapped stereotypes. Oh my god. Jeez Louise. That transgender individual are trying to hide what they really are and trick people into having sex with them unaware. And that does happen. That does happen. And that's exactly the kind of stuff that gets transgender individuals killed and leads them to them killing, suicide each other. That makes no... That leads to them killing suicide each other. What? And every day, those kind of stereotypes and that kind of imagery, no one who is transgender actually does that stuff. Really, citation needed. Tries to trick people like that. They're more afraid of that possibly than anyone, that someone might feel deceived in any way and fear what would happen to them in that kind of situation. It's just not a thing. Yeah, right. The moderator also posted a note explaining that some of the people at Reset Era were so triggered by the endings that they requested that the film outright ban all discussion of Catherine full body. Of course they did. One of the moderators, Morgan, posted official staff response which said we received a request to have a game banned and added to the prohibited games list. The team has discussed this and our conclusion is that banning the game would inadvertently serve to sweep this issue under the rug. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? When it should really be brought to light and exposed. However, please keep in mind that the contents described here are so blatantly offensive that defense of them or any dismissal of relevant criticism will be met with ban. You can just ignore this game and not buy it. Might be a thought. A staff message has also been added to the OT with clearly outlined rules and expectation of behavior. The thread devolves into excruciating, excoriating Atlas like a dragon roasting a stuck pig in an empty field. That's a good metaphor. The thread, however, exacerbated what was being said on social media, regardless of whether or not it was true or not. It continued to escalate, though, with various social justice warriors proclaiming that they would no longer associate with people who were buying the game. Jesus. Are you really that weak of a person? If you buy a game, you don't want to associate with that person. Jeez Louise. Telling others not to buy the game and showing images of them cancelling their pre-order of Catherine Full Body. You can see all the tweets. The video is gonna be way too long if I read all of them. Some Twitter users also began attacking Catherine creator Katsuhiro Hashino, claiming that he perpetuates negative stereotypes against trans folk and the LGBTQ community. Yeah, Hashino, retire. Whether or not Atlas will kowtow to the demands of people asking for change, censorship, or outright bans remains to be seen at this point. Typically, most companies deign resolutions to whatever the social media outrage machine dictates. Make no mistake about it, there will likely be a small contingent of centrists with blue check marks and notably moderate YouTube channels decrying any mention of the controversy brought up by anti-SJWs, claiming that whatever outcome befalls the situation was because of anti-SJWs talked about. That's the SJW outrage, and therefore that was the only reason it became as big as it did in the media. And while completely honoring SJWs have been using social media platforms to pressure and coerce corporations into doing their bidding against the better interest of the majority. Yeah, that's also a good point. So you have these very loud minority screeching at companies, telling them to do their bidding, and they're actually like the I think it was Nike who pulled a completely white shoe because it was launched during Black History Month, or a fake news from Bloomingdale's. I mean, These people are insane. However, Catherine Full Body is already out in Japan as of February 14th, 2019 for the PS4 and PS Vita, so it can't be censored in Japan unless they apply a patch to change things retroactively. The downside is that the game won't arrive in the West until September 3rd, 2019 for the PS4. So if Atlas decides to censor the game in any way for its Western run, then the only way to get your hands on the uncensored version would be importing the Japanese version. We'll find out when September 3rd rolls around, or unless Atlas makes an announcement before then. Yeah. So yeah, these people are completely insane. And want to censor. I mean, they can't even discuss this game or want people to buy it because it's too triggering. Even discussing the game is too triggering. Anyways, hope people buy this game that if it interests them, and not because of these SJWs or outrage because of this game. So anyways, thank you guys for watching and see you guys next time. Bye.